Hi guys! Welcome back to another colorful Keto with Dory. So we're doing something really fun this evening. We're getting together with Robyn Davis of Keto For Life, and we're going to talk the skinny on fats. We're going to talk about why we need them, how we get them, what our best sources of fats are, what our personal favorite fats are, and how we eat them. And I have a special treat for you guys. I want to share some information with you from Emmerich's cookbook because it's absolutely amazing. So we are going to get going. Yay! It's Wednesday, guys. It's time to get over the hump and through the second part of the week. I'm super excited to hang out with Robyn, and she's on vacation. Robyn!
Hey, everybody.
Hello. We have sound. Yay!
We have sound. We have visual. I'm in a hotel room. It's not even my hotel room, so if you see stuff behind me, I'm in a hotel room.
Okay, well, you chat for a second, because if you're in a hotel, that means you can't share to your group live. So let me just pop on quick and do that for you.
Somebody in my group, Tatiana, said she was going to do it.
Oh, awesome. I love it. So I'll just share it to my group and we can move on. So you tell us what you're doing. Where are you? Where are you going? What are you doing? I'm nosy.
No. Nothing exciting. We live on the Gulf Coast, so there's a lot of casinos down here. I only live about 20 minutes away.
I love it, a casino.
Our family's visiting from Louisiana, and there's a lot of them, so we've got rooms here. We got the pool, the lazy river, where we're like all place. So I'll be going home tonight, and then I'll be coming back tomorrow. We're just visiting.
I'm available for adoption. Just saying. If you're hanging out awesome places.
We got going down. I'm going in the hot tub after this. So.
Oh, I love it. The hot tub's my favorite. So today, I wanted to talk about fats. Let's talk the skinny on fats. I want to talk first about, why we need them, how we get them. And I wanted to share a little bit with everybody out of Maria's cookbook because I just finally sat down and had a little time to go through it. And in the introduction, you and I don't have all the smooth words. I'm the fun girl and you're the science girl. But man, there is some smarts in here that I
learned much from Maria. I love her foods and her recipes, and I have her cookbooks. And, but a lot from her too. And she got here by experience, out of necessity.
Well, amazing story. So I kind of want to just start with, we're going to read just a little bit out of her book, and I'm not going to spend a whole time reading to you guys, but I just want to read a little bit about what she says about choosing healthy fats when it comes to which ones to consume and which ones not to. Because I know for a lot of us, that's the first question is, okay, fats, I'll go get my vegetable oil, my whatever, oil I've got in the cupboard, my margarine. So I kind of want to talk just a little bit about that. So it says we definitely want to consume more fatty acids, so things that contain saturated fats, like MCT oil, coconut oil, tallow, lard are your best choices, and they're also anti-inflammatory, and they're not as prone to oxidation, which means they're not going to go, rancid on you as fast or anything like that. So let's start there and say, what's your favoriteest fat?
That's like asking somebody with multiple children, what's your favorite child?
Right? The good one?
I don't. Well, maybe and I only have one, so that's easy, but
me too.
My favorite fat.
Yeah.
And with your kids, I like them different at different times, I guess.
Yes.
It depends what I'm using it for. In cooking, first of all, you mentioned vegetable oils. I hope nobody here has any vegetable oils in their house.
Yes.
But for cooking, I cook with olive oil or avocado oil. Avocado oil mostly, bacon grease, of course. it depends on what I'm cooking at what temperature. Avocado oil, you're pretty much safe. Now, got to be mindful of the smoke point when you're cooking with oils, because at a certain temperature, oils will begin to break down. Even the good oils, they will begin to break down. Okay. So we love coconut oil. Absolutely love coconut oil. Yes. I don't cook with coconut oil because the smoke point is 350 degrees. Most things we tend to cook around 350 degrees, but I'm not sure the side's not getting a little hotter than that. So I use coconut oil or MCT oil actually in my coffee, but coconut oil for cold things. So for cooking, I'm going to go with avocado oil is my top favorite, along with lard and bacon grease, depending on what I'm cooking.
Awesome. And you know what? I would agree. I don't think I could pick one. So I don't even know why I asked you to have one favorite one, because I don't think I could. I think if I could only say I could only have one source of fat, I would choose coconut oil only due to versatility, because I use it in so much of everything from my coffee to my baking. You're right, I don't cook in it for the most part, but for mine, that brought back my love of fried food was lard. So I swapped out the vegetable oil in my deep fryer for lard, and now deep fried is healthy at my house instead of being junk food. So the love of my life returned with lard, and that's deep fried stuff. But coconut oil is the most.
Because those are the things that we used to stay away from.
Yes.
No, you can't have that. We were wrong.
Well, and at my house, deep fried was a treat. So it was the one thing I would do when my whole house was cleaned, everything was done. I didn't want to dirty any dishes. I'd take out the deep fryer and the paper plates, and then I would feel horrible about making, that convenience meal for my family, because instinctively I knew that deep fried meant junk food. So although it was fun and easy and we loved it for movie nights and, watching wrestling because we're geeky like that, I always knew it wasn't healthy. So now I almost dance around every time I deep fry, because I'm like, oh goodness, not only am I making healthy food, I'm adding good extra healthy fats to everything that we eat by deep frying it. So it's not junk food. It's the best way I can cook for my family that's easy and convenient and fun for everybody.
Absolutely. Yep. Yes.
So you are the science girl. Let's talk a little bit about the science of why we need the extra fats. Because there's a few camps on that too, right? Like some people are like, oh, you need lots and lots of fat. Some people say less fat so it'll burn off your butt. Some people say, limit this. It's a lever. It's a bell. So what's your opinion on fats?
Someone tell me what a lever is. I hear that all the time.
Okay, so when they call it...
I know what it is, but...
Well, lever is my favorite way, actually, to refer to it. It's funny, or a tool. Because for me, I eat it until I'm full, right? Like, I eat the extra fat so that I'm not starving. But yeah, I giggle when people say, everyone has an opinion about fat. So I'd love to hear yours.
Here's my opinion, and I'm trying to keep it real simple, and it works. That's why. I mean, you can... it works. We can, I don't want to spend all the time necessarily talking about the whys unless we want to, but bottom line is it works. We need fat. We need fat to live. Of the 3 macronutrients, we need fat. We need the amino acids from protein. We don't need carbs, but we need fat. Our bodies can run very, very efficiently off of fat. And, I think people get confused when they say, I'm in ketosis and I'm not losing weight. Ketones are a byproduct of fat burning. They don't make ketones lose weight. When you are burning fat, you'll start producing ketones. Now, the only part or the major part of your body that cannot run on fat is your brain. And that could be a problem, but it can run on ketones. So by burning that fat, making ketones, they go straight to your brain, and that's actually the preferred fuel source, because fat cannot cross that blood-brain barrier. So
yes,
Why does eating fat work? It works in many different ways. Like you mentioned, you eat till you're full. Fat has double, and I don't want to talk about calories much, but fat has double the calories that protein and carbs do.
Yes.
So when you eat fat, you get full faster. You actually end up eating less.
Yes.
Dietary, if you want your body to run on fat, you need to, if you want it to burn, let me put it this way, if you want it to learn how to burn your body fat,
you need to feed it fat.
So it learns to burn that fat that you're eating. It learns to burn the body fat. If you're going to give it any other energy source, if you're going to give it sugar, you're going to give it carbs, it has no need to tap into those fat stores ever. If you don't give it the sugar and the carbs, what really happens is your body goes, oh no, she's starving me, and I've got to do something. I've got all this excess fat here, so I'm going to go into that. And that's what we want. By giving it fat instead of everything else, we're training it in a way. Just to keep it very simple, we're training it to do that.
So I'm going to ask you the dumb question, Robyn, only because before I found keto, this would have been my question. But I'm already starving myself, Robyn. Why isn't it burning fat? Because I'm already starving myself. So why doesn't my body just learn to not eat fat when I starve myself? You went through periods of starving yourself. So how come that doesn't work?
I did. Because when you're eating fat, you're still giving it fuel.
Yes.
Okay? When you're starving yourself, you're not giving it anything. What eating fat does is it mimics fasting.
Okay.
So when you're starving yourself and you're not giving it anything to run on, it's just going to keep lowering your basal metabolic rate. Your heart rate's going to slow down. You're probably going to get cold. Your body's going to do everything it can to stop burning, for lack of a better word, the calories that it has. But when you're feeding it fat, it's using the fat that you're eating, and then it has now been trained to go into your fat stores. I mean, if you starve yourself forever, guess what? You are going to lose weight. You will eventually go into those fat stores, but you're doing so much damage that, and you and I both know that.
Yeah.
So, when people say, well, you need to lower your fat in order to burn fat, I don't buy it. There's people that may need to eat a little bit less fat because of like a gallbladder issue or something, something separate from that. But if you look at my day today, and I've been at this a while, and I've been at goal weight, if you will, or ideal weight, for a while. My day today, I just looked before I came on because I was curious, is 95% fat. It's just the way it worked out. I wasn't
aiming for that.
I live on fat.
And you know what? I'll raise my hand and say me too, but I also really want to talk to the people who are fat resistant, because you know what? Sorry, I'm declining a call. My son is trying to call me. I don't know why he would. He knows I'm live. So I was really fat resistant, and I didn't want to eat the extra fat. And I was like, okay, well, this keto diet sounds really good, but maybe not all the extra fat. So I really kind of tried to do a lower fat version of, and I didn't lose any weight. Like none. Not
you the low fat keto.
Yeah, because that exists, right? But in my mind, I was like, you know what? You don't get to tell me I won't do what I want. I'm eating healthy. You're not the boss of me. You don't get to tell me what I eat. I'm doing good. I'm not eating sugars. I'm not eating carbs. I'm doing good. But then I was in groups, and I was like, I'm not losing weight. And they're like, how much fat are you eating? And I'm like, well, as much as I want. And they're like, well, you know what? If you're not losing weight, then maybe that is for a reason. Maybe you're not eating enough fat. I don't know if there's an emergency of some sort, but he hung up and called right back. So I don't know if I can answer it without losing you, but give me 1 second to try. Okay, good. It allowed me to pause. So there you go. Apparently it's not that much of an emergency to hang up and call right back. But you never know.
Emergency.
You never know. Oh, apparently, do you know what? I'm going to bet you dollars to donuts because this is my kid. I bet you he's calling to say, so, got any plans for dinner? Because he's 20. So I'm sure that's exactly what he's calling for, is to see, he's probably on his way home from work. What do I have in mind to feed him for dinner?
Well, that's kind of like an emergency.
Well, it's kind of an emergency, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, he's doing like almost the 1 meal a day eating because he doesn't like to pack a lunch. So I understand why if he's on his way home, he wants to know. But it's Wednesday, dude. I have a full live day. I don't have time for that.
Is he keto?
He is now, actually. At the end of the month will be the end of 3 months for him. And he originally decided he wanted to do 2 months. And then he decided 3. At this point, he still thinks he's going back. I know better. But you know what? He's 20, and at the end of the month, he said he'll let me have his before and after pictures and reveal. But it's all hush-hush. He has an enormous weight loss goal that, a woman in their 40s would never attempt. But, he's a guy in his 20s, and he figures he can totally lose 60 pounds in 3 months.
Yeah, it could happen. On keto, it certainly could.
So
good for
yeah, we're going to see at the end of the month how he's doing and how he's feeling and what he's decided to do after. I won't lie. He's kind of like, so I've been without carbs and sugars for a while. I think I'm going to have me some like Sunny D and toast. And I was like, well, you could try it, but it might make you sick.
Yeah, that's the worst part about, and I hate the word cheating, but everyone calls it cheating. But that's the worst part about it. It's not even, because if you cheat one day, you're probably not, if you gain weight, I mean, you might, but it's not like you're going to gain 5 pounds of
not
fat.
in a day.
Right? The worst part is the sick feeling, and it lasts for days.
It
because
does.
I know how bad food and sugar really affects you. Before keto, you didn't know it.
I didn't, and so I'll tell you about the first time, and I don't like to call it cheating either. I call it eating off plan. Because you know what, cheating has all these guilt feelings that are attached to it, and it makes me do all kinds of weird food hoardy thing. So I call it eating off plan. But the first time I did it, I had been keto for 8 months. 8 months. So I was like, you know what, I'm good. Like, I've got this. I've been doing this. Like, I'm eating healthy. I got it. I'm a rock star. And my girlfriend brought over her regular tin of Christmas cookies. And I won't lie, like the year before, I ate a half a tin of cookies, and it was all good. So I was like, you know what, 2 or 5 cookies couldn't hurt me any. And maybe I ate 5 cookies. I ate 5 cookies, and I couldn't poop. Which is a sensation that has never come across me in my whole life. And I was like, oh dear God. What did you do to me, evil wheat cookie? Why would you do that to me? I didn't even enjoy eating you, and now I'm suffering, and I'm paying, and I panicked. I messaged all my ladies, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. What do I do? Please help me. And one of my favorite keto ladies, one of my keto wives, was like, oh, flax muffin, Dory, flax muffin. So I made me a 1-minute flax muffin with mint and chocolate chips in it, and I ate it, and 20 minutes later, I was the happiest lady in the world. But I didn't know what hit me. Like, I honestly was not prepared for how I would feel, and it took about 3 days to go away.
Oh, yeah. One bad day for me, or it takes 3 or 4 days, and in my head, it's amazing how my head doesn't feel right. I'm like, I can't get out of my own
foggy.
way. I'm like, I can't focus on anything, and it happens every single time.
And for me, I've become a food detective. Like, I can tell if I've eaten something that has something in it that I shouldn't, because I can feel it. I can feel it.
Immediately. So I'm like, okay, there's something not right here. Even if you can't taste it, you can feel it.
And you know what? I've had people message me and say things like, I had one lady in my group. She's amazing. She lives in Australia. And she said, you know, I went out for dinner with my husband, and it's a rare occasion. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to have a piece of garlic toast. I mean, it's a 1 piece of garlic toast. It's not really going to be that bad. It's a special occasion. We don't do it that often. And she was like, dear God, Dory, I was sick before I got home. Like, I was sick before I got home, and I was sick all night. And she messaged me in tears, and I was like, I love you, baby girl. Buckle up. This is going to be a couple of days. And she's like, what? What? Days? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I love you, and I'm sorry. But yeah, this could take anywhere from 24 hours to 4 days to work itself out of your system. And she's like, oh dear God, it didn't even taste good.
Yeah, it's never worth it. I mean, and I'm certainly not saying, people are like, well, I don't, well, if you want to, then do it.
Do it.
That's fine. I'm telling you can do whatever you want, but it is never, not to me, it's never, I'm not saying I don't do it, but it's never worth it.
Yeah, I would never say I've never done it, because people have seen me do it. But I will say it's never worth it. Like, never once have I been like, oh, I ate that off-plan thing and that was totally worth it. It wasn't. Like, if I ate a slice of pizza and I was sick for 3 days over it, I was like, why didn't I just make a fathead pizza? Really, am I that lazy? I could have even made crustless pizza. Dude, I could have melted a blob of cheese and put salsa and sour cream on it and thrown some pepperoni on there and not made myself sick.
Right. Yeah, it's never ever worth it, guys.
So
the longer you go, the more you notice the effects.
Yes, and I kind of want to circle right back to the amount of fats that we eat. Now, some people know, not everybody knows, that I had a bariatric surgery. So for me, I'm very limited in the quantity of food that I can eat. So I basically eat what you would feed a toddler. If you were to take your lunch and divide it out into a whole day's food, that's my food. So for me, fat is double key. Double key. Only because I can never consume a sheer amount of volume of food to be satisfied as I am all the time. Like, I'm not hungry. I intermittent fast, 16 hours a day. It doesn't bother me. I'm comfortable. I don't suffer hunger pains like I used to. But for me, because I eat such a small amount, I consume a lot of my fats in liquid form, in bone broth, in teas, in coffees, because for me, it looks like 15 tablespoons a day is what I eat in fats. And when you eat what you feed a toddler, you can't. Like, there's just no way that you can eat enough fat without drinking it. But I want to point out that bulletproof coffee with fat in it isn't an all-day drink for everybody. It's a meal replacement, and you're really only supposed to be having it instead of when you're hungry.
Yeah, but you're kind of cutting out on me a little bit.
Oh, no.
I think I caught most of that. Yeah, I do the same thing. I tend to drink my fat. I was thinking about this today. I got to find the clip. Everyone remember that Friends episode where Rachel was trying to get Ross to drink the fat, and how disgusting we all thought it was back in the 90s?
Drink the fat.
I drink the fat today. I don't know if I would drink that fat. But
it didn't look good.
My days are, and I don't measure it I measure, but I couldn't tell you how many tablespoons I ate, but gram-wise, because I track everything. My main concern for me is to follow the ketogenic ratios for overall health and weight loss, which is 2 to 1. Now, I actually just saw on one of the episode 6, maybe one of the episodes of the Real Skinny on Fat that we've all been watching.
Oh, yes.
Thomas Lauer was saying that he is a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio fat over protein. But that's more of a therapeutic ratio, but obviously it works for him. But I try to go at least 2 to 1. So, and I eat very low protein because I'm fine. I don't necessarily need more. So, but whatever I eat in protein for the day, I want to make sure I get double that in fat for grams. Which will put you like at a perfect keto ratio. But I'm probably on any given day about 100 to 120 grams of fat is what I consume. Most of it is in liquid form. Now I cook with it too, but I eat like you for different reasons. I eat very little. I'm just not hungry, And the bulletproof coffees, that's my favorite thing in the world. If I could only have one thing, it would be bulletproof coffee or keto coffee, however you want to,
however you want to call it. Yeah.
So that's where I get the majority of mine.
Now,
as long as I'm at least twice the amount of fat over protein, for me, I'm good.
That's awesome. Now, I do kind of want to circle back to the bulletproof coffee because I was talking to a girlfriend about it the other day. Now, she started keto. She did it for a while. She didn't really see the results she wanted. It was hard. Her life got complicated. She gave up. So when her and I were talking the other day, this is what she said to me, and I hear this all the time in group. I did all the things right. I was doing all the things right. I was fasting for 16 hours a day. I was really strict keto. I was doing all the things, and I didn't lose weight, so I gave up. And I said, okay, so walk me through your day, what your day looks like. And she said, well, the first thing I would do is get up and have my bulletproof coffee with my sugar-free sweetener in it. And I was like, oh, dang. Okay, girl. So if you're putting sweetener in it, that breaks your fast. You didn't fast for 16 hours. You thought you did, but you weren't. As soon as you got up and had your morning coffee, you broke your fast. And she's like, what? I'm like, okay, next thing. And that was where we started. And then she explained to me how she's not really hungry first thing in the morning. She's hungry around 10 or 11. And I said, okay, so what you should be doing then is having your regular coffee first thing in the morning, and your bulletproof is for that when you're starting to get hungry, but it's not time to eat yet. So you shouldn't be getting up and having your bulletproof first thing in the morning if that's not when you're hungry. You get up, you have your bulletproof when you're hungry. So for you, you should be having your bulletproof around 11. And then that'll tide you through until 1 and you have first meal. And she's like, okay, let's get another list of all the stuff. But it's sometimes that simple. When you're like, I'm doing it. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. But that one little thing, like sweetener in your bulletproof coffee, is the one thing that you're like, oh, dang it.
Yeah, and sometimes, people say that, and I get this a lot too, I'm doing everything right. If it's not working, and if it's truly not working, I'm going to make a lot of people mad here. If it's truly not working, then you're not doing it right. And I can say that because I didn't do it right. But sometimes you think it's not working, but it is. I'm saying if it's truly not working. But usually what we find is that later on you look back and go, oh, it was working. Now, what you're really saying is the scale's not moving.
Yes.
Which doesn't mean keto's not working. It means that you are prepared to lose weight. If you're so unhealthy, you can't lose weight. Your body's not going to let you. You've got to do some of those things first. So, yeah, for me, I would love to get up in the morning and have a bulletproof or a keto coffee. I'm trying to be fair to bulletproof, and have a keto coffee. But I'm not hungry in the morning, so I don't. I just have a cup of black coffee, and then I make my apple cider vinegar, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
And I usually have my first one, around lunchtime. And that's for me, that's my lunch.
And that's absolutely perfect. And I think for most people, that's the key. And although I'm the very first girl to get on the have more fats, there's an effective way to use them too. So I kind of want to close out on that today and talk a little bit about what a fat ratio looks like for you and for me. So for example, today I made a shrimp soup. It's on my live if you want to watch it. It was with leftovers. But what I did was I took four shrimp, I think. Four or six shrimp, because I don't eat a lot. 6, I think. And then I added leftover cauliflower rice that was cooked in butter. Leftover mushrooms that was cooked in butter and bacon fat. Leftover sauce that was cooked in sausage fat. Added some extra olive oil and heated that up. And that was my first meal of the day. And someone commented that's not very much protein. But it is. When I looked at the amounts, it's 27 grams of protein. So it's a good amount of protein. And I would say equivalent about 2 tablespoons of fat on that for me. So that's how I get my happy medium. I'll throw, get my small piece of pork chop with a half a tablespoon of bacon fat or butter on it, 3 Brussels sprouts with a tablespoon of good fat. So for you, what does that look like on your plate when you dish up with your fat?
Trying to follow this. Again, I may not be answering your question, but I'm looking at maybe it's my head's still foggy. I just, whenever I get in protein, I want to make sure I get double that in fat. And, there are days like today, I don't know what time it is, it's like 6:30 or something at night here, and the only thing I've had today is fat, basically. I think my protein, I tried to look real quick and then I forgot already, at my tracker, before we hopped on here. Yeah. I've gotten 3 grams of protein today. I'm not even sure, because I actually haven't eaten yet today. I haven't been hungry. Of course, I've been out, doing stuff. I've had coffees. I did have a keto coffee with an egg yolk in it. Because I'm not afraid of fat. The more fat, the better for me. It works. And like I said, in group, people say, I'm not losing weight. Almost 100% of the time, if not 100% of the time, fat. You're not getting enough fat. And it's a mental thing. It's very, very hard. I know for more than 3 decades, everything in my house was low fat, no fat.
Yes. And
obviously it worked for me. I don't believe you can eat too much fat. Number one, you're not going to be able to. Now, I know I can polish off a family bag of Doritos and wash it down with 2 loaves of bread and still be looking for more food. I know that. But I can't eat that much fat.
No.
Now, is there fat in Doritos and in bread?
A little.
But not the good kind of fat. Not the kind that keeps you full. So, number one, you're not going to be able to eat that much. Your body's just going to go, no more, don't want any more, and you're going to stop. But even if you did overeat the fat a little bit, it's fine. I've overeaten fat a lot, but I don't think you really can overeat it.
I agree. I don't think you can eat too much fat. So if that's your concern, I will say that for me in my group, if someone says to me, Dory, I'm stalling, guess 1 is, are you eating enough fat? Guess 2 is, are you eating enough actual food? Because I find a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm eating all my fat in bulletproof coffee. They're not eating enough nutrient-dense food, like not enough actual food. And then the third one is almost always sneaky sugars and carbs. It's very seldom, unless it's a medication issue or a hormone issue. I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, a stall falls into one of those 3 categories in my group.
Yep. I would agree. Number 1, you're not getting enough fat. And I know that goes against everything we were ever taught. But everything we were ever taught was wrong. Sorry.
Yes. Sorry, wrong.
Number 1 is getting enough fat. Number 2, what I see is you're getting too much protein. And people don't want to hear that.
No.
But when I look at, there's been a lot of people that I've gone through their day and said, okay, you say you're eating a perfect ketogenic diet. You're actually eating more protein than fat, which is fine if that works for you, but it's clearly not working for you, and it's also not keto. So your keto diet, you're not even eating keto. Okay, so let's give keto a shot.
Let's try that.
Let's just try that for a minute. But unless you're actually, honestly, unless you're tracking it, especially in the beginning, how would you know? You think you're doing it right. But if you have a 12-ounce sirloin, or let's say you have a 12-ounce sirloin, which is not a very fatty meat, and you throw a tablespoon of butter on it, you're getting a whole lot more protein than you are fat. That's not enough fat. And it may be too much protein, but it's definitely not enough fat.
And so I would recommend
those hidden sugars and carbs that you forgot to mention.
Yep. Go with a 4 or a 6-ounce sirloin and 2 tablespoons of fat on it, and you'll be just as full.
And people always ask me this, and I have to laugh because once I tell them, they're like, oh yeah, duh. When you're cooking in it, they're like, well, how much do I actually get? Because some of it stays in the pan. I'm like, dude, pick up the pan and dump it on your meat.
Pour it on top.
All the fat in there. It's good. And
excellent.
Fatty cuts too.
So I'm going to say that's our takeaway. Pour it on, baby. Drink it. Add it. However you got to eat it. Get that fat, baby. Get that fat. Have a great night, y'all.
Yeah.
Enjoy your vacation.
We'll talk next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so guys, I'm going to take a quick 20-minute break, and then we are back here in 20 minutes with the keto teen, Brittany, and I'm super, super excited for you guys to meet her, because you know what? If you thought kids and teens couldn't keto, maybe this is the live to watch. See you in about 20 minutes, guys. Bye.